Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tackling a classic showdown, the heat pump versus the air conditioner. We're going to break down the actual mechanical differences between these two systems and, more importantly, figure out exactly how to choose the right one for your specific space. Because let's face it, nobody wants to waste time or money on the wrong HVAC setup. So let's just dive right in. So heat pump or AC? If you were stuck trying to make this decision right now, trust me, you are definitely not alone. I mean, on the surface, they look exactly the same, sitting out there in your yard or up on a roof. And during the summer, they cool your space in the exact same way. So which one is actually better? Well, to figure that out, we really need to look under the hood. Okay, let's establish some common ground first. The truth is, both of these systems actually share the exact same core refrigeration cycle. We're talking about the usual mechanical suspects here: a compressor, a condenser, an expansion device, and an evaporator. When they're in cooling mode, they are virtually identical machines doing the exact same job, which is just absorbing heat from inside your building and literally rejecting it outside. But here is the crucial functional difference. It basically boils down to this. A standard air conditioner is kind of just a one-trick pony. It only cools. If you want to stay warm in the winter, an AC system absolutely requires a totally separate furnace or an electric heater. A heat pump, on the other hand, is the ultimate multitasker. It provides both your heating and your cooling all wrapped up in one single system. Now, you might be wondering, how exactly does a machine built for cooling suddenly start pumping out heat? Well, it all comes down to this brilliant little piece of engineering called a reversing valve. It does exactly what it sounds like. It literally reverses the flow of the refrigerant through the whole system. So instead of grabbing heat from the inside and pushing it out, it harvests usable heat energy from the outside air and pumps it indoors. And yeah, even when it feels totally freezing outside to us, there is actually still usable heat energy in that air for the heat pump to grab, all without burning a single drop of fossil fuel. Because of this completely different process, the efficiency numbers are just mind-blowing. See, since heat pumps are merely moving heat from one place to another, rather than generating it from scratch by, burning something, they can hit massive efficiencies of 200% to 400% during mild weather. That is a huge return on the electrical energy you put into the system, which makes them incredibly attractive if you're trying to slash those energy bills. Actually, let's be real for a second. We have to ground this hype in reality. As those outdoor temperatures drop closer to freezing, a heat pump's efficiency rapidly declines. It just has to work harder and harder to extract that shrinking amount of heat from the frigid air. So, in truly freezing climates, a high-efficiency gas furnace can actually outperform a heat pump when you look at raw heating capacity and absolute reliability during, say, a blizzard. And this brilliantly illustrates why so many modern cold climate setups use what's known as a dual-fuel strategy. It is absolutely the best of both worlds approach. During those nice, long stretches of mild spring or autumn weather, the system leans on the incredible efficiency of the heat pump. But the second a harsh winter storm rolls in and temperatures plummet, the system intelligently switches over to a gas furnace, just to guarantee your building stays safely and reliably warm. All right, get ready for the plot twist of this explainer. This highlights a closely guarded industry secret that even seasoned HVAC professionals get wrong all the time. Choosing between an AC and a heat pump should not be based on the building as a whole. It is entirely about the specific zones within that building. Just picture a crowded, modern office building for a second. The interior zones, those spaces completely surrounded by other rooms with no exterior windows, they are absolutely packed with heat-generating people, bright lights, and running computers. Those spaces are cooling dominant all year round. They literally never need heating, even in the dead of winter. So standard air conditioning or chilled water systems are a perfect match there. But contrast that with the perimeter zones bordering the outside walls. Those areas battle freezing heat loss in the winter and intense solar heat gain in the summer. For those massive seasonal swings, the versatile heat pump is hands down the best choice. If you were to just blindly assume the whole building needed the exact same system, you would be making a massively costly mistake. I mean, installing a heat pump in an interior zone adds all this upfront cost and mechanical complexity with literally zero benefit, simply because that space is never going to use the heating function anyway. This is exactly why true professional designs use a hybrid approach. They throw simple, cooling-only systems on the inside and put those versatile heat pumps on the exterior perimeter. You have to design for the space, not the building. So let's build a quick pro-level decision matrix to make this super simple, starting with exactly when you should choose a heat pump. A heat pump is absolutely your best choice if you are conditioning those fluctuating exterior zones or if you're in a mild or warm climate where winter efficiency drops aren't really a huge deal. It's also the ultimate go-to if you explicitly need both heating and cooling in one package, or if you're designing for decarbonization and want a completely all-electric setup. Conversely, when does the standard air conditioner take the win? Well, it's your best bet for those stuffy, cooling-dominant interior zones where you really shouldn't be paying for heating equipment you're never going to use. An AC is also the right move if your main goal is keeping that upfront first cost lower, or if the building already has a perfectly good, totally separate heating system installed. Finally, what about the classic combo? When should you pair an air conditioner with a traditional gas furnace? This setup is still the heavyweight champion if you're battling harsh, sustained cold climates where heat pumps tend to struggle. It is also incredibly practical if your building already has existing gas infrastructure piped in, and if your local natural gas utilities are relatively inexpensive compared to electricity. In those specific scenarios, this dual combo is almost always cheaper to operate in the long run. Okay, before you go make your next big HVAC decision, I want you to remember these 3 key takeaways. First up, heat pumps move heat, while AC units strictly remove it. Number 2, please stop blowing your budget by paying for heating equipment in interior zones that will literally never use it. And third, always design based on the actual zone loads, not just broad assumptions about the whole building. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final crucial question. The very next time you walk into a freezing cold office in the middle of July or a horribly stuffy room in December, ask yourself, did they design for the building or did they actually design for the zone? Knowing the difference between the two is exactly what separates a standard box from true engineered comfort. Thanks for exploring all this with me today, and keep making those smart decisions.